last week's game. Three statements about this week's matchup against FAMU. And we'll open up for questions.
Good weekend. Coming off a big weekend, good win for our football team. They really came out there and dominated a good South Carolina team. I thought, we talked about the MEAC being a physical conference. I challenged this team all week long. With the last couple of weeks, all the way leading up to that game, and they came out and executed in all phases. Special teams was solid, defense was solid, holding them to 200 yards. Our offense looked explosive but under control, and that's what we want to be at this as a football team going forward. We got to put that one behind us. Get ready for a good FAMU football team. Again, we're on the road on the national stage, ESPN on Sunday, so we're excited about it. Had a good day's practice today. Guys really were moving around with great effort. We got to raise our level of play, though. That's what the focus is this week, is raising our level of play and get ready for a good FAMU team, well-coached team by Willie Simmons and his staff.
How important is a game like that to start off to boost confidence around here?
Very important. Very important. Anytime you can go out there and challenge your guys to be a certain way and they go out there and do it, and they see that it was effective, the things that we preached as coaches, it pays dividends. Everybody's kind of riding high now. And that's what we came in on Sunday, just trying to get them back grounded and make them understand, that's just one game. That's just one game. And the reason we won the game because you played well and did things the right way. But we still have some things we got to correct, going forward and get better at.
Speaking of corrections, you said in the press conference, Jason Brown obviously played a good game, but there were some things he needed to improve on. What were some things that you kind of, hinted to him during practice today to be ready for it when they face FAMU?
Anytime you talk about the quarterback position, you want him to be consistent. He didn't turn the football over. That's a plus, but you want to be consistent. I feel like we had probably about 21 more points out there. He came up short on a couple throws. I think he threw one out of bounds on a wheel route. We was trying to hit the running back too, but I think for the most part he played well. I don't want to single him out. I called out the offense as a whole because we got to be better in the red zone. We got down in the red zone quite a few times as a unit and didn't execute and get the ball across the goal line with speed. And that's what we, really press these guys about. We get down here in the red zone, let's be fundamentally sound, execute, and figure out ways to score touchdowns.
Would you say those were challenges that you guys didn't fix on your end, or was it the defense of South Carolina State, particularly in the red zone?
I think it was more so us. You look at, I could remember one time we had DJ Stevens running wide open down the sideline on a wheel route, and left tackle gives up a sack. Another time we had Isaiah Spencer open for a touchdown looking at the tape in the red zone, and the running back just didn't see the blitz and linebacker. Things like that we got to get better at, and we know we can't get away with this weekend.
What's the biggest thing you think the team learned about itself from actually playing a game?
We got the opportunity to be pretty good. We got a chance of being a really good football team. They flew around. The energy level was crazy. But we challenged them day in, day out to play fast. They did that part. And we came together. I thought we came together as a unit. We talked about the culture going forward as a football team, how we were going to look with so many new faces. And I thought they did a good job of coming out there and blocking all the distractions for us. It was a huge crowd out there, loud. There was a lot going on. But they came together and won the game.
Coach, has there been any concerns in relationship to the weather and the hurricane and everything hitting Florida coastline?
We're going to show up and be ready to play. Whatever happens with that, we'll deal with it, but we're looking forward to Sunday. If there's a change, we'll make the adjustment, but the game is going to be played. This is a conference game, an Eastern Conference Division game, so regardless if they cancel it, we know sometime down the road we're going to have to play FAMU. So we're going to be ready to play, and then, whatever happens with that happens.
Coach, we saw a good amount of support in the stands. Speak to the support that this team, that your fans are bringing to the.
To me, that's nothing new. JSU shows up and show out. They've been doing that for decades. They're going to show up, show out. They expect to win when we get there. So it was good to hear, though. It was good for our football team to hear, to see the support, though. A game like that on the road, a team, like I always say, that beat us a couple years ago, to come back and, dominate the football game the way we did, and just to see the excitement on the fans' face. I mean, they were truly excited about that win. And it was good for our football team to see that if we come out and do things the right way, play a clean game, Didn't have a lot of penalties. I think with 5 penalties. I mean, that was good. That was something that I, really emphasized to the team. I wanted a good, clean game, but it was truly a magical night.
And speaking about that, the discipline that we saw, the team was very disciplined, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we're going to do. That's something our coaches preach it. Even our players preach it to themselves. We had a couple times, I think it was Tim Stewart, picks off the ball and runs down there and thinking he's in the NFL, like it's a camera down there. And then that's what he told me when he came to the side. I'm like, Tim, what are you doing? And he was like, Coach, they do that in the NFL. I said, yeah, because there's a camera down there. But Sunday I told him, did you see yourself on the camera when you got down there or anything? Nah, I didn't think about it, Coach. They play with a lot of energy, and they was having fun, but they got to understand we got to play the right way. Towards the end of the game, it kind of got chippy when it kind of got out of hand, and a couple of O-linemen made some bad decisions as well, and that's something we harp on as a staff. We want to play a good, clean football game, especially when we got these cameras on us at all times, especially like we get another ESPN game this weekend, so we're going to really stress playing a good, clean football game, not a lot of penalties, and not make any bonehead decisions.
Coach, there was a lot of talk coming in about the play of the offensive line. Stellar play in this game from start to finish. You get another defensive front from FAMU. It's pretty explosive. What's your message to the offensive line this week?
Carry it over to this weekend. If they carry this game the way they played the other day over to a game like that this weekend, I think we'll be fine. The running backs are running hard, but that's a great question, because that was a big question mark for me going into this game. I know everybody was worried about the quarterback position and other spots, but I was worried about how we were going to be on the offensive line. I thought Coach O, our offensive line coach, did a good job of finding the right group and the mixture of guys to go out there and dominate the way they did dominate. I was very pleased to see Irv Mulligan get 100 yards, and not just for Irv, but for that offensive line and building confidence. If you look at it, you have one returning starter on that group, with Evan Henry playing center, and he's changed positions. He's never played center. So I'm very pleased where that position is going. We'll recruit some guys, and there's some guys that didn't get an opportunity to play that's getting better. So I'm very pleased where we at. Games like that are won in the trenches. And all week long, the last month or so, all we heard about was their D-line and what they were going to do to us. So it was a challenge to them, but they came out and played pretty good.
When Irv broke out for that touchdown, what went through your mind?
He can run. You see it in practice, but that was another thing I wanted to see. When our guys had explosive plays, how did we pull away? And Irv is something. He's got the ability to be pretty good for this football team. But it was a great play. He patient, and then when he found daylight, and he hit the home run and he finished the rest. But again, you got to go back to what that O-line did. They gave him a crease to hit, and he finished the rest. But you talk about home run, breakaway speed, finish runs, plays physical. He's going to be a good back for us. We just got to find ways to keep him healthy.
And in terms of page to FAMU, just talk about maybe what your staff has seen for them leading up to today, or just historically, what are you seeing from FAMU and what kind of problems do they present?
They are as advertised. They got some really good players back there. It's going to be a good chess game between the coordinators, I think, going into a game like this. In the beautiful city of Miami, you don't have to get kids to get ready to play. Everybody know the magnitude of that game, and it's going to be sparks flying for 4 quarters. I told the team that this morning, for 4 quarters in a game like that. But you're going to have good players on both sides of the ball. Again, another talented defensive group. They've been talented for the last few years or so on the back end and secondary. D-line is good. Got an all-conference linebacker. You flip it over to the offensive side. I told our football team today, they have on paper right now the best offensive player in the conference. Musa was the offensive player of the year preseason, so he's the best offensive player in the conference right now. Some receivers that can really run, a huge offensive line. So we just got to, put our big boy pants on and go do it again this week.
What does Jason Brown add now that everyone knows the quarterback and see what he can do? What does he add that other guys might not be able to?
Well, what Jason does now is give everybody some comfort and confidence, like we're okay at that position. That's what I think our team saw this weekend when he went out there and played the way he played. I didn't even know what it was, 22 straight completions,
Yes.
and the 23rd was a drop touchdown. If you think about it, I didn't even know that he was playing that well. I knew he was, fundamentally sound. Everything was going right. But to see him go out there and put it all together, I'm so happy for him to finally get an opportunity to play football. He's had a rough career of just getting the opportunity to get on the field, and for him to go out there, he was poised, made good decisions and everything for this football team. But it raises the comfort level for the rest of the football team, like we're going to be fine going forward.
How did it feel for you to be on the sidelines as head coach of your first game?
It felt great. It felt good. I just wanted to see how our football team looked against another opponent. How much faster were we? How physical were we? How channeled in and tuned in can we be, with the execution? How was my coaches coaching? That's the stuff that mattered to me, and that's the stuff we got to get better with going down the road. But I had fun. The big thing for me was the pregame speech. I had fun with that, and just to get that walk to get into the tunnel and getting ready to come out, and then you get out there and you see these fans hanging over the walls and stuff. That's when I kind of got pumped and like, we're finna be fine. We're finna go take care of business tonight.
Coach, we heard at the end of the game the crowd chanting two alphabets. How did it feel when you heard them chanting two alphabets, Coach?
I mean, it felt good. Yeah, I mean, that mean we won. I guarantee we didn't win, it would be chanting. Oh yeah, it'd have been totally different. But I mean, it was a long time coming. I think it was a long time coming. They asked me that after the game at the press conference, and I've heard that before as a player. I can remember, games that I heard that very same thing, and that's what it brought memories back. Like, man, this feels like home now. It is home, and that it was just exciting to see. And it didn't end there. We got in the locker room. The players were saying the same thing, but I let them know, man, that's not me. That's you guys. I didn't put on no shoulder pads or no helmet and go out there and run around and knock people around. I am who I am because of you guys and these coaches and these people around me that make me successful.
How will this travel, playing a national spotlight, now you have a Sunday game, how does all that kind of factor into prep for the games?
It's what it is. We just got to be ready to play no matter where we at the time or whatever was going on. It's up to us as coaches to get this football team ready to play, and it's up for these players to, to be ready to play. And we got to accept it. Anytime you can get this kind of exposure, it's great for Jackson State. I'm excited about being on national TV again, playing on a Sunday. That's what I told the players today. Last time I checked, the guys that play on Sundays are NFL players. And here you are getting the opportunity to do that. And think about the week before you're on ABC television. So we're excited about it. And you're getting quality opponents. You're getting quality opponents. You're going to, in the next couple of weeks, you'll get two teams that will pick the head of a Jackson State to play in the championship game. It's FAMU this weekend and Southern next week. So that's going to be a challenge in itself, and it's a great opportunity for us as a program to set the tone early.
Coach, thank you.
Good?
Thank you,
All
Coach.
right, thank you.
I tell you, I would like to, man, just first thank God for that win on Saturday. Last week, man, I was asked an interesting question about just the different places that I have been, and I don't know where the reporter was coming from with it, but he asked me, he said, what's the difference between Jackson State and all the other places you've been? And when I told him it was the same, he looked kind of puzzled. And it's the same to me because no matter the place, the purpose is the same. The purpose for me is to impact lives of my Lord and Savior. That's the purpose. So no matter the place, the purpose is the same. And when we have nights like we had this past night, it gives me a bigger stage and podium to proclaim that. So I wanted to let y'all know what my purpose is, and it's far beyond the sport. But because of that purpose, man, it gives me passion every single day to go out and impact these young men's lives and to make sure that we put a product on the field, man, that looks really good, that we all are proud of. So I answer any questions. I just had to say that.
So were you proud of stuff after this week?
Man, I would say the effort that the guys gave throughout the game. We got a lot to clean up. We do. When you look at the film, we got a lot to clean up. And I told our guys on Sunday that we can be an amazing, phenomenal offense, or we can be an average one. If we clean up the small things, we can be an amazing offense. We really can. Starting with just the mistakes that we made in the red zone. Getting down there and not being able to score touchdowns, that's an issue. We have to score touchdowns, not, kick field goals. So we have to clean that up, that whole process up. But I was really impressed with the guys and how, they fought throughout the whole game, especially the offensive line. That was a concern going in because of the injuries that we had on the line. We just didn't have a group that practiced together over a long period of time. I don't think we had a group that practiced at the same position, 4 days in a row. For those guys to go in and do the things that they did, man, I was very proud of those guys.
Speaking of injuries, how's that looking now going into this game?
We came out pretty good coming out of the game. We did, just normal nicks and bruises that go with a physical football game. But for the most part, we were pretty good.
When did you and TC and the rest of the coaches know it was going to be Jason?
About 3 weeks ago. Yeah, about 3 weeks ago. And you guys been around college football long enough. We're going to have a starting quarterback, and we're going to name the starting quarterback. We're just not going to let everybody else know. You know what I mean? So they just can't. They don't know what they're going to see. But about 3 weeks ago.
If you had to grade your offense right now, how would you grade it?
I don't know. That's tough to say. I mean, I'm a guy, man. The small things matter most, and those things that keeps me up at night. Not being able to execute properly in the red zone when we had 3 opportunities for touchdowns and didn't get them. I don't know, man. Just average. You know what I mean? We have to get. If we're going to be elite teams, we have to play a whole lot better, offensively, in my opinion.
You said last week you wanted the offense to be fast. Obviously, you had a pretty consistent pace going throughout the game. How much of an impact did that come from the running game that you guys had?
Yeah. So I think going fast. First, we have to be efficient on first down. If we're efficient on first down, then we can get into our warp speed, or what we call it. Once we're efficient on first down and get into our warp speed, there's still small things we can do to even go faster. Coach Taylor asked me he said, man, you guys are going pretty fast. Can you go faster? I said, absolutely. One thing that, I don't know if you noticed, one of our receivers caught the ball. He turned around and threw it to the referee that was on the sideline, as opposed to turning around and tossing to the umpire in the middle of the field. And those are things that we preach about. Once you make a play, don't do this. Don't signal first down, get the ball to the ump, so now we can get lined up and go. So the running game led to that, but I think being efficient on first down really helped us.
What does Jason add to the team? I've seen you for a while, but what does he add that makes him different than any other guys?
I'm sorry about this, guys. Poise and maturity. Yeah, poise and maturity. He adds that. It's just nothing rattles him. From getting hit. You think about. He took some shots too now. But man, he got up, kept playing. Even the touchdown that he threw, man, to DJ Stevens, man, he took a shot. Man, it was a great play, and I think that was the kind of the nail in the coffin a little bit, so to speak. That first drive, 4th and 2, scoring a touchdown, going up by 24. You kind of saw their cells kind of deflate a little bit. But he adds maturity, poise. He's a very accurate thrower, and when you get on him, and he responds in the right way.
When you're preparing for a tough game this coming weekend, and the guys are coming off a 30-point offensive win like that, how do you keep them wanting even more than just that?
Look at the film. That's all we have to do is look at the film and see that we have a lot of room for improvement. We haven't arrived yet. You know what I mean? That was a good first game, but we haven't arrived yet. We look at the film, we got plenty of things that we need to get corrected. If we don't get those things corrected, it's going to be a long game for us. This team right here now, Florida A&M, they're really good. They're really good defensively. They got 5 returners coming back. They got a linebacker and 2 DBs, man, that are very, very special. So. If we think we can rest on our laurels and go in there, we'll get embarrassed. So we have to come in prepared to play. And our guys responded the right way. Today's practice, on a Tuesday practice is always you're implementing things. So from a schematic standpoint, it may look a little rough, but the effort is definitely there.
What was it like to see Isaiah Spencer produce as a freshman?
Oh man, that's a mature kid. He's awesome. I mean, I wasn't surprised because I've seen it, when he first got here in May, and then throughout the summer, throughout fall camp. I wasn't surprised when he got in and did the things that he did, but he's a special kid, special talent. He really is. But so I wasn't surprised at all.
There were a couple plays where it was a short pass and the receiver just had plenty of room to run. What kind of creates those opportunities for the offense?
I think tempo does. If you think about this, once we have an efficient play, we come back and throw a hitch or something like that. A lot of times those DBs, they're just jogging back. They can't get lined up to press us. So now we come out of football at a fast pace, pushing those guys back, throwing the ball in front of them, and we make one miss. And that's what we talk about, man. To be an efficient scoring machine, we got to create explosive plays. And the only way we can create explosive plays is to make one guy miss and then transition and block. We kind of talked about that some last week, but I think our tempo really helps us to catch those short balls like Rico caught and made one miss, and Dre caught one. We had those guys blocked up, and he just kind of outran the pursuit. Those explosive plays really help us. But those were both tempo plays, what we call warp plays.
Do you guys get an extra day of preparation for the game on Sunday, or is it still like a normal week?
It's an extra day.
Okay.
So we were off yesterday, and then we prepare all the way through Sunday.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Coach, you would open statement about the play your defense, and open for questions.
Feel like they came out, flew around, tried to execute for the most part. Everybody trying to do their 111. Felt like it was a physical game. South Carolina State did a good job of getting off the ball, and we matched their intensity. Just want to, try to continue that throughout this weekend.
How mad was the defense that they didn't get the shutout, and how big is that as far as motivation for this team?
We was upset, but it's one of them deals where we take it and continue to grow from it. Learn how to finish things the right way. I don't know if they was, more upset than me, but they was a little upset. But it was all right. We got the win, and that was the most important part about it. Now it's just about coming out, making corrections, and trying to get better from it.
What impressed you most, given the fact that it was almost a shutout, and just everything that they did in general?
Just the physicality of the game. We didn't want to allow them to knock us around and push us off the ball. I felt like the D-line did a good job of coming out and setting that tone, and the backers did a good job of filling them gaps. And when it did get out on the perimeter, the DBs came up and they was, actually putting pad to ball carrier, and that was, impressive to see. And if we continue that and get 11 hats to the ball, we can continue to get better.
You only allowed them about a little over 50 yards at halftime. I know you had to feel good about that. 200 yards of total offense by the end of the game. Referring to South Carolina State, what would you say was the thing that worked the most, that went really, really well for the defense?
Really, these guys been working all summer, and we as a coaching staff been through a bunch of looks at them, and then it's getting to the point now where it's kind of becoming muscle memory. We want them to be able to fix problems and see it, on the field before we get to the sideline and have to make them adjustments. They did a good job of recognizing the picture and going out and getting everybody lined up to understand what they was about to get and what they was about to see. So it really just started in the classroom. That's the most impressive part to me, being able to take that knowledge from the classroom to the practice field, to the game field, and see it show up and be able to call plays out before they actually get them. And I thought that's what allowed us to play fast on Saturday. So just, capability to learn and know what's coming their way.
Pass rush really was giving the quarterback fits all game. Was that a point of emphasis for you guys, and how do you feel about that execution?
Always. Like I said, I'm the D-line coach. We take pride in big men leading the way. And they came out and they set the tone. And like we tell them, if they're getting off the ball, little guys ain't got no choice but to fly around too, because it becomes contagious. So we want to, continue to do that and, make them dudes' life just a little bit easier.
It's just one game, but how much can you teach off of this film?
A lot. We had a couple of things we got to clean up. And like I say, about finishing and gaps, and fitting gaps and things of that nature. But it's a lot that we can improve off of, and we're going to improve off of. So we'll just continue to, again, preach our 111 and execute our assignment at a high level. That's what we want to do. Like I said, we're striving to get perfect plays, and the perfect play to me is having all 11 doing the right thing on that given play. So if we can, once we get to that, then we know we made it. But again, that's a hard thing to do, to get 9 men on the same page doing the right thing at the right time. So that's what we're striving for.
You limited a good quarterback in quarter fields from throwing the ball efficiently. He didn't have much room to really run for his life with the pass rush. But now you get a quarterback in Jeremy Musa who can pretty much throw it anywhere on the field. What challenges have you, does that present to defense, and what have you told the defense?
He's a smart quarterback. He knows where to go. He knows where to go to the ball. He's seen a lot of different looks. So again, we're gonna have to execute, get after it, and win our one-on-one pass rushes when we get it. And DB's gonna have to be able to, kind of disguise things and come out and play fast and be able to lock their man down. Because again, he made quick decisions. He's not holding on to the ball long. And kudos to him. He's been playing a long time and seen a lot of different defenses. So it's just up to us to come out again and just execute and continue to play hard and kind of see what happens.
Is there anyone in particular that stood out to you on how they performed in the first game?
It was a lot. It was good to see Tim Stewart get out there, get that interception. Kid that's been working his tail off, high energy guy, great guy, always smiling. It was good to see Jeremiah and Double D get out there and do the things that they did, just controlling the line of scrimmage. But, overall, it was just a good feeling to see the whole defense just fly around. And like I say, that's the message we're preaching, just work and good things that happen. So hopefully we can, continue that throughout the season.
I heard Tim Stewart acted out, pretending to be you last week, I think, so maybe a transfer.
He was actually Coach Taylor, and
Coach Taylor.
Stanley Cooks was me.
Okay.
But it was a good deal to see. It's kind of funny.
After the game, Isaiah Spencer, I talked to him and he said that, seeing what the defense did really fired up the offense. And what's it like seeing like a freshman wide receiver, in his first game and saying, hey, the offense is looking to you guys and seeing y'all set the tone. What can I do for you guys going forward, like you said, knowing that you guys are really the tone setters for this program?
It's really complementary football. All three phases going to feed off each other. Just like they're feeding off us, we're feeding off them. To see Irv get that big run. I'm one of his biggest cheerleaders in the box while I'm sitting there watching the game. So it's one of them deals where we're all feeding off each other. So, literally they helping us strive to, go as we go. So that's kind of it.
Coach, thank you.
No problem. Appreciate you all.